So hello traders and welcome to another trade breakdown. So in this video I'll be breaking down the reason why I was bullish on gold, why I took a buy trade on gold. So here was when I posted the focus on the channel, the daily focus, and here was the first 1:5 trade I took on the buy, which was a short term, and this was the one I posted this morning, the one I took this morning. So let's dive into the breakdown. So I actually got this analysis from the higher time frame, starting from the monthly time frame. So we are going to start from the monthly time frame. This video might be a little bit long because I'll be going into more details on what is happening at the moment. Now, starting from the monthly time frame, I always say this, but how your previous monthly candle closed is likely going to determine what is going to happen at your current month, or how your recent daily candle close is likely going to determine what is going to happen at that current day. The same thing is applied. How your previous weekly candle close is likely going to determine what is going to happen at your current week. Now, starting from this monthly time frame, what I can identify here is that the market is still in a bullish trend. But at the moment, we have some kind of consolidation at this particular candle. So if you look at here now, this was our recent pullback that we had before we rallied to the upside. Now, price have already pulled back within our discount. So you can actually expect price to continue pushing to the upside here. But in fully, I have not yet considered that yet. What I'm doing is that I'm kind of trading what I'm seeing at the moment. So zooming this out now at this current price here, you notice that last month's candle was an inside bar. Okay, this was not actually an inside bar because the low of this candle was actually taken out on what? On It was actually taken out on silver, making this as an SMT low. Now, since this is an SMT low, meaning that if this candle would have taken out this candle, this would have been a bullish turtle soup reversal candle to where? To the upside. But let me just use this at the moment. What I have here is what? An internal range on the monthly time frame, which is an FVG. So since my last month candle closed leaving an FVG, I'm expecting my current month to trade above the high of this candle before, if we can likely form a reversal from here, which is after we take out the high of this candle, we can likely form a reversal above here to the downside, or we can close above this FVG, turn it into an inverse FVG and continue pushing to the upside. But I do more of scalping, which is day trading, so I don't normally swing that much. So I was just looking for a short term target, which was what at the previous monthly candle high was where I was looking to target above the high of this candle. Now, I've already identified that there was an SMT below the low of this candle. We have an FVG, which is I'm anticipating this new month candle to trade bullish above this level. Going on to the weekly time frame, the weekly time frame we are having something similar to that, because last week candle closed as an inside bar. So for this candle to close as an inside bar, we have liquidity above and below this candle. What I normally do whenever we have, meaning what I mean by inside bar is that throughout last week was more of a consolidation. We had more of consolidation. So this was a consolidation week. Whenever we have a consolidation week, we're expecting price, if we are going to go bullish, we're expecting price to take out the low of our range first before the high of the range. So if we sweep the low, so whenever I have a range, I expect price to take out the low of the range first before going for the high of the range, which is anytime you have a consolidation, expect the low of your consolidation, which is the low of the range, to get taken out first before what? The high of the range. This is what I normally look out for. Now, this is what actually happened here. This consolidation was I was expecting price to take out the low of this range first since I'm bullish on the higher time frame, which we actually did, but this was a result of SMT. This low was taken out of silver before gold. Now, coming down to the daily time frame, even this weekly time frame is not that clear. The only thing I was able to identify on this weekly time frame was that we had what? An SMT below the low of this candle. Coming back to the daily time frame where things started getting more clear, if you notice here, like I said, last week was more of consolidation, and this was the full consolidation because I was expecting price to react from this point of interest out since for a couple of days now, which we actually which actually didn't happen as a result of consolidation. Now, coming back to coming back to what I said, this is a consolidation, and for me, a consolidation is not a reversal pattern, it's a continuation pattern. What do I mean by that? If you are in a bullish trend, if you are in a bullish trend and price is creating higher highs and higher low, and then we made a little bit of a pullback and start consolidating, I'm not expecting price to reverse to the opposite trend. Whenever I'm seeing a consolidation, I'm expecting this as a continuation pattern, not a reversal pattern. So for me, consolidation is a continuation pattern, not a reversal pattern. So anytime I have a consolidation in a bullish trend, I always expect price to break above it, not below it. Now, looking at this, and before the breakout, I always like to see the low of the consolidation get swept. This is a sign that the consolidation is about to end, which I expected the same thing here. If you look at here, we had our recent low, our recent higher high. We made a pullback and start having this consolidation. Now, I was always expecting price to take out the low of the range and break out above it because for me, this is price building momentum to continue pushing to the upside, which we ended up having an SMT here, which is one of my first confirmation that price is about to break out of this range. The second one was after I got a daily bullish candle confirmation yesterday. So after yesterday candle closed bullish above my previous bearish candle, engulfing it, I expected today to just be an expansion candle out of this range. This is the high of the range, and this is the high of what our higher time frame draw of liquidity, which is the weekly FVG. Yes. Now, after I had this SMT inside this point of interest, SMT, daily candle, everything was aligning bullish. It was now time for me to look for a reason to buy on the lower time frame. So after I had this daily candle confirmation, I was now monitoring how this candle is now going to go, which was when I dropped down to the daily 1 hour time frame. I aligned the 1 hour with my daily. So since I already have a daily candle confirmation here, if price is going to maintain this bullish trend to the upside, below. I'm not expecting to see price below this 50%. I'm just expecting it to respect the 50% of this candle to the upside. So this particular entry I use here, the entry model I use here was kind of aggressive entry model. I didn't use any lower time frame confirmation. I just moved from daily to 1 hour. What I identified on the 1 hour was that we had this particular level here, which was a kind of support level, aligning together with this my breaker block. So I marked out this 1 hour breaker block, which was where I took the trade from. So this 1 hour breaker block was the aggressive zone I entered from. I just placed my entry above the 1 hour breaker block with my SM below the low of the breaker block. And what I set my targets to the high of the range first, then before targeting the monthly FVG. The other way I would have entered this trade if I wanted to use a confirmation was that I'm going to get what? I'm going to expect the new candle to open, give me a low of the day. After we have the low of the day, I'm going to get a 4 hour bullish candle confirmation first. After this candle confirmation, I'm now going to trade this third candle to the upside, which is where I will align my daily 4 hour once I get my bullish candle confirmation. So in this case, I would have gotten my entry somewhere around here on the lower time frame with my SL below the low of this candle to the out, and I will now be expecting price to push to the upside. Aligning daily 4 hour 15 minutes is one of my best model. But this one, I just had something like this, and I was kind of, this actually happened around night. I didn't have that time to wait for that confirmation. I was already feeling sleepy. So I just have to place my trade here aggressively, putting my SL below this level. So if I was to use the 15 minutes time frame, what I would have done is that I would expect to get a candle confirmation first, and then a 15 minutes reversal above this level. This is where I would have gotten in on this trade with my stop loss below this level, which is I would have had something that looks like this after we break above this level with my SL below this low, and then what, I'll be targeting the same area as that. So in summary, I was bullish on the monthly time frame, targeting the monthly FVG. Weekly gave me a bullish SMT for the week, and then daily candle confirmation aligning bullish with my 4-hour candle confirmation and 15 minutes entry. So that is it. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel to encourage me to be making more of these educational videos. Thanks for watching.